What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. You already know it's your host Bando, and I am back at it with an episode where we are back in the boxing realm of things, and I am breaking down Chris EUBANK Jr. versus Conor BENN. So let's get right into it. Let's smoke. So like I said, welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. We are breaking down Chris EUBANK Jr. versus Conor BENN this weekend. Huge matchup between the two of them. Obviously, we've been waiting for this matchup for a little while now. A couple times it fell out, but it's finally happening. And these two clearly don't like each other, right? There's a little bit of animosity, a little bit of beef between these two. They definitely don't like each other, and they are definitely going to go at it. There is no doubt in my mind it is going to be a good fight. It is going to be a scrap. But we got to come through with the breakdown. Talk about who's going to win, who's going to lose, and why. So, breaking down this fight, you really look at Chris EUBANK, bigger fighter. That's the number one thing that stands out to everybody, is Chris EUBANK is the bigger fighter. And obviously, we know he is a natural middleweight compared to Conor BENN being a natural welterweight. Conor BENN having to go up in weight might slow him down, knowing his benefit is speed, might slow him down a little bit. And then for Chris EUBANK, you know, every time, no matter what division, if it's your natural division, you're still cutting weight. You know what I'm saying? You still have to deplete yourself a little bit. You have to cut weight. Chris EUBANK has to cut weight. Could that play a potential factor in this? It's very possible. But like I said, he's the natural middleweight, so he has that advantage already going into this. So Chris EUBANK, 34-3, holds the current IBO middleweight championship, which I'm surprised I even could remember which three-letter freaking promotion that somebody has a championship for. Shit fucking is ridiculous. But either way, he's IBO middleweight champion. If you're not hip, this rivalry between the two of them goes way back in the day. And I'm not even necessarily talking about a rivalry back in the day, but there was a bit of a rivalry between both their fathers, Chris EUBANK Sr. and then Nigel Benn. And they put on some good fights. So this has potential to carry a legacy of a rivalry, and I feel like that's kind of cool and something we need to talk about a little bit, point that out, right? You're just carrying like a rivalry. I don't feel like this has really ever been done. Has it? Has there been two guys who had both their sons fight? There probably has. Boxing's so big. So there probably definitely is. But this could be one of the biggest matchups in terms of that type of thing. So let's see. Looking at this, EUBANK has three losses. Billy Joe Saunders, George Groves, and Liam Smith. I mean, some tough fights overall, to be honest with you. Billy Joe Saunders, before the Canelo thing, everybody knows he was a problem. Undefeated at the time. You know, came through, got it done against Chris EUBANK. George Groves got it done against Chris EUBANK. Liam Smith got it done, but then Chris EUBANK also came back and got it done against Liam Smith, so he got his revenge on that one. But we got to talk about the strengths of EUBANK. And yes, I am reading stuff off my phone. Your boy got notes. All right. So, like I said, the number one strength and the number one thing that people are pointing out is the fact that Chris EUBANK is bigger, the natural middleweight. So he should have that physical advantage in majority of aspects in this fight. And in my opinion, if he utilizes it properly, almost like a Tyson Fury type of thing, he hangs on Conor BENN and just makes Conor BENN tired. It might make it a boring fight, but that's a really good way to win. But obviously, size is the number one thing that benefits Chris EUBANK in this fight. Another thing Chris EUBANK is pretty good at is that body jab. He throws a nice body jab, and a body jab obviously sets up for other shots. A jab is typically always setting up for something, right? But he throws that body jab, and it's not just usually setting up for that 1-2 type of thing. He's not always coming with that. He might just do it to take you off a rhythm and then make you throw, and then he counters with a right hand. He's not extremely quick or anything like that, but he does have good counter punching. He likes to fight at a slow pace, a pace that he controls. So if Conor Benn can definitely take him off of that, it's going to be a completely different fight for Chris Eubank. He likes to fight at a pace that he can control. You know, having Roy Jones is another benefit in my opinion. So if you're still talking about the strengths, Roy Jones being in the corner, I think that's a strength for any fighter. Now, obviously, a lot of people think that's taking him up and down. A lot of people say it's taking away his killer instinct. I think having a guy like Roy Jones brings you back and brings you back to polishing up the fundamentals, right? Putting everything back together. And then if you have that dog in you, it doesn't matter. You got the fundamentals all together, and then you got the dog to come out too. I think I don't see any true negative of having somebody like Roy Jones Jr. in your corner. So like that's just, you're tripping. And then I would say another strength of his right now is the confidence, right? He's got a little bit of mind games going with Conor Benn. Obviously they're continuously back and forth. He smacked him in the face with an egg. His father's out here calling him a disgrace.
Be mad. I would never be in your corner. You're a disgrace.
It's, you know, it's definitely something that he has in him that is like, I can't even like, the word everybody uses today is aura. This isn't like an aura thing. He doesn't have an aura about him. It's just something within his personality that works in like a trash talky type of way. And I don't even think he's naturally, I don't even think he's trying to do it. He just naturally does it, if that makes sense. But he's definitely got the confidence going into this one. I truly feel like if you are the bigger fighter, no matter what, you should be coming into the fight with confidence. You've been in this division. You fought the best of the best in this division. There should be no problem in terms of feeling like you are going to be the bigger and better man in that ring. So I truly believe that my man Chris Eubank is just booming with confidence right now, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously we saw him lose to Liam Smith. He came back, had multiple wins after that. Win after win after win, it bounces back to confidence. So I do think his confidence is booming, and I think he's going to show that in a fight. Now, can that negatively affect him? There's a possibility. So let's get into the negatives for Chris Eubank. So I kind of already covered the three things that are his like negatives and his weaknesses, right? The one thing that he has a bit of a problem with is he's patient. He likes to control the pace. He's kind of a slow fighter. Conor Benn is the opposite. Conor Benn likes to get in close, tight exchanges. He likes to push the pressure. He's always moving forward. So usually you can't really, it doesn't translate that much when you're going up in weight and you're facing a bigger man, but it's very possible that Conor Benn can do that. But I think Chris Eubank, with his patience and everything like that, it might benefit him in the first few rounds. But I think once Conor Benn starts finding a rhythm and finding shots, finding his chin, whatever the case may be, just getting a little bit more comfortable, it's going to negatively affect Chris Eubank. So I think he just has to, if he's going to be patient, just be a little bit smarter with it. And when I say being patient, when he's patient, he doesn't throw enough. Right? He needs to throw enough. If you watch my UFC breakdowns, I always talk about guys not throwing enough. You have to throw enough, right? Especially if you're going to have a fight that ends up going to decision. Even if you miss the shots and they looked close, you never know. These judges might still end up giving you something. But if you didn't throw anything at all, you ain't going to get shit. You know what I mean? So I think if he's overly patient, it's definitely going to be a huge negative to him. Especially going up against a guy like Conor Benn. A style of Conor Benn. That's just not a good way to go in there. Obviously I said the weight drain, the weight drain, the weight cut. It's not a huge one, right? It's not very big, and I'm pretty sure that there is a like a 10-pound weight thingy for that fight. I forgot if I read that correctly or not, so I'm not trying to get fully into that, but it could negatively affect them too. It's very possible. It's very possible. We've seen it multiple times in any type of fighting, any type of combat sports. Having to cut weight and having to drain yourself throughout the week, right? Not being able to hydrate, you're training, you're tired, you're mentally exhausted. it could beat you down. It could beat you up. Now, I don't think he has to cut that much, but just the fact that he has to cut and Conor Benn just has to put on weight, that could negatively affect him as well. Just maybe in stamina alone. You know, maybe he doesn't get KO'd or anything like that, but stamina alone, I think that could cause a problem. And then this next one goes along with being patient. He doesn't like being pressured. He does not like being pressured. He's not good off the back foot. When Liam Smith got him, if I remember correctly, he was off in the corner. So he's not good off when he's backing up. So just avoid letting the pressure, like I was saying, he's the bigger fighter, right? You're the bigger fighter. Go out there and utilize that, right? Hang on him. Throw a 1-2, hang on him. Just do extra stuff that shows you're the bigger fighter, right? So even if Conor fought a fantastic fight, people at the end of the fight are going to say, Chris Eubank won that fight because he's the bigger fighter. It was just simple as that. That's why there's weight classes. But they're not that far off. But Conor Benn is a small welterweight. So we'll see what happens. If Eubank is smart, control the pace. Doesn't have to be a high pace, right? Control the pace, but utilize your weight advantage. Utilize your size if you can at all. You're taller than him. You're longer than him. Use it properly. Now let's get into Conor Benn, the undefeated Conor Benn. Now, the dude is extremely talented. Quick hands, good counter shots, good movement, right? But he hasn't fought nobody on the elite level. He hasn't fought nobody on an elite scale yet. So yeah, he hasn't fought anybody at the elite level yet, right? There has not been anybody that he has fought at the same level of the competition that Chris Eubank fought. But that doesn't mean that he can't go out there and put on the performance of his career and really set a tone for the rest of his career. This is the biggest fight of his career, right? In my opinion, it's not the biggest fight of Chris Eubank's career. I mean, maybe in terms of viewership and all that kind of stuff, it might be the biggest. It might be the most watched for him. But so we talk about the strengths of Conor Benn. Speed. And breaking down the speed for him, right? It's not just that he's got quick hands, right? It's how he sets everything up, and he's quick with the counters too. If you go back to some of the old Floyd fights, you'd see him hit a quick left-hand counter. You wouldn't even see it the first time. You'd have to watch the slow-mo to end up seeing him land that left hand. That's kind of what Conor Benn is like, because he throws so quick. Not as well with the counters, but he throws very quick, and he does have good counters. Not Floyd level, but good counters, right? And with the speed and the combinations and everything that he throws, he's got power behind it. If you look at the KO over Algieri, 1-2, right down the middle, slumped him. Devastating knockout. Over with. Beautiful 1-2, and it was quick. You didn't see it coming. A guy like that, he's so quick. Not only that, he has movement. He has good movement. That's another benefit in his game. He has good movement, right? And I'm not saying as in like a Pernell Whitaker style or Sugar Ray Leonard, like not movement like that. He's good at changing angles. That's the better way to put it. He's good at changing angles. He has a good skill with that, but he does leave himself open at times. So I'll get to that when I get to the negatives, but he does leave himself open at times. And then the last thing is his aggressiveness. He's a much more aggressive fighter, like I mentioned earlier in the video. He's a much more aggressive fighter than Chris Eubank. He puts the pressure on. He's trying to meet you in the middle. He's trying to continuously put you on your back foot so he can throw quick shots, heavy shots, counter shots, whatever the case may be, and he's moving in quick. He has a much better control of a fast pace than Chris Eubank does. So, getting into the weaknesses now of Conor Benn, I already talked about him. I pretty much broke him down this entire video. He's down in size. He hasn't fought the elite experience. And at times, he overthrows with his punches. Yeah, he's a shark in the water. When he smells blood, he's going for the kill. That's no doubt. But the only problem is, if he starts missing shots, he is overthrowing. He puts so much into those shots to finish you. He's overthrowing. He leaves himself wide open for counters. And sometimes when he's trying to change angles, he leaves himself open for counters too when he's trying to throw some quick shots. Sometimes he'll come over top with the right hand and just leaves himself a little open. But a lot of people do. A lot of people do. But either way, Conor Benn just has to keep a few things polished in this fight. If I'm putting the overall summary to it, I would say Chris Eubank should go out there and be able to beat him off size alone. Right? Just like I broke it down. If he utilizes his size, he should win off size alone. But if I am putting money on it, I got Conor Benn. I got Conor Benn. Hungry, fresh, undefeated, fast, doesn't have to weight drain. Putting on power. I guarantee you with him going up, he's gonna carry some more power. He has sneaky power, and I just think there's going to be a moment in this fight where he puts Chris Eubank in danger and ends up finishing him. That's my prediction. Now, I'm usually wrong with majority of my freaking predictions. I'm terrible with predicting, right? Sometimes I just try to be a little outlandish and odd with it. But this one, I feel like Conor Benn has a great chance to win this fight. Now, like I said, if Eubank smart, he'll win this fight off size alone. But I'm rocking with Conor Benn.